Nigeria is facing a challenge in its battle to prevent underage drinking. In December, it announced a ban on popular small sachets and bottles of alcohol that it's identified as a major problem. But as DW West Africa correspondent Azeezat Olaoluwa reports, 6 months on, the child-friendly packaged spirits are still in circulation.
Officially, these sachet alcoholic drinks are banned in Nigeria, but they are still being openly sold. And here in Lagos, you can find them everywhere. Abdul Karim has been buying these small alcohol packs for years. He drinks up to 7 sachets every day.
With everything that's happening in Nigeria, I drink to avoid worrying. If you have any issues with the wife and you drink, it helps you forget and sleep well. It helps me think clearly and not bother about the situation in the country.
Alcohol in small sachets and bottles is popular here. This packaging makes highly concentrated spirits affordable for the average drinker. €1 can buy 7 sachets. The alcohol concentration in these sachets can be up to 40%. Strong stuff.
People buy them to get through the day, even during work. I've even seen bus drivers taking a sip in the morning. A range of products offer health and lifestyle benefits, offering some customers excuses that they have genuine reasons for taking them.
Branding usually features words like bitters or herbal, and consumers often wrongly believe these are plant-based health remedies. It is a claim that has many people convinced.
I drink to ease my stomach cramps. I also use it to relieve my back pain. So not everyone drinks it for its alcohol content alone. Sometimes I also drink 1 sachet daily, and it's usually when I have back pain.
Between morning and evening, I usually drink 2 sachets. I won't lie. Once I've drunk 2, I feel okay. The brand I drink makes my body feel good and very active. It also helps improve my bowel movement. But if you drink beyond your limit, you'll misbehave in public.
But these days, it's not just adults. More and more young Nigerians, including children, are drinking. So the country's National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is trying to do something about it.
Over 183 countries signed, including Nigeria, that we will not make alcohol accessible to children. When a child consumes alcohol or starts consuming alcohol early, their systems are exposed to alcohol early, and there's always damage.
Recent official figures from Nigeria show that more than 50% of minors obtain alcoholic beverages by themselves, and that's a problem. The government says these sachet alcoholic drinks are partly to blame. They are sold everywhere, and they are small enough to easily hide from parents.
We definitely have a significant alcohol consumption problem, and we've had it for quite a while. Increasingly, of course, we're concerned about younger people, and that makes it a public health issue of significant concern. From a public health standpoint, from a mental health standpoint, from a productivity standpoint, we're looking at a huge challenge.
Nigeria's law does not expressly prohibit the sale of alcohol to children, but sachet consumers accept that there is a problem.
It's not good for parents to send their children to buy alcohol. I don't ask my child to do it. His mother wouldn't allow it. If you did, your child would be getting the opportunity to start tasting alcohol.
If children come to buy from us, we always demand that they should go and bring the people that sent them. And if they don't come, we won't sell. We only sell alcohol to adults.
The ban, which kicked in at the end of 2025, was supposed to prevent children from having access to alcohol. But now, there are conflicting messaging from different government bodies about whether or not the ban is still being enforced. Because of the size of the market, the government gave producers and suppliers more than 5 years to adapt to the new policy. But even now, there is still widespread resistance. Workers from the alcohol industry demonstrated outside NAFDAC's office. They say the sachet ban threatens millions of jobs. That's a claim echoed in the desperation of small traders.
If they ban sachet alcohol, do they want us to start stealing or do sex work? Many of us are unemployed, and that was why we started this business. If there are jobs, we will work. So how do we feed if there's no work?
How am I going to eat if they banned it because I'm a widow? This is what I depend on for survival, and I use the little money I make from it to support my children's education.
And with no one enforcing the ban, sellers have taken advantage and hiked their prices by more than 100%. But that hasn't stopped their customers drinking. Sachet sales are booming. And until the government has a clear policy in place, in the streets, it's business as usual.
For more on this, we have invited Dr. Martins Iluyomade onto the program. He is from Nigeria's National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, where he heads the Investigation and Enforcement Directorate in Lagos. Welcome to DW, Dr. Iluyomade. Could you start by clarifying for us if alcohol sachets are banned in Nigeria? Because as our report points out, government sources and your agency seem to be publicly contradicting each other on this.
Oh, thank you very much. I think there's no more contradiction. Alcohol below 200 ml sachet and PET bottles are banned in Nigeria. I can say that authoritatively.
You are a supporter of the ban of the alcohol sachets, but what do you make of the arguments that alcohol producers are making, that banning alcohol sachets limits the choice for low-income adult consumers and that it risks jobs and investments?
What I can say is that argument really do not really hold water. Really, why I'm saying that is because...
Which argument specifically?
Yes, the argument on economic benefit for the producers and all of that. Alcohol is not totally banned. We didn't ban alcohol. We just ban a particular packaging. Is pack size that we banned because of easy access for children and all of that. If anybody wants to drink alcohol, you can still go and buy your big bottles and all of that and use it. So it's not the total alcohol we have that is banned. And so that's a perception a lot of people had before. I've had people call me and say, why are you banning alcohol? Why? No, we're not. We are banning a particular pack size because we want to limit easy access to alcohol.
Understood. A 2018 WHO study found Nigeria had some of the highest rates in Africa of episodic drinking among people aged between 15 to 19. How useful will the ban on alcohol sachets be for curbing underage drinking in Nigeria, do you think? Or do you hope?
Very useful. Yes, I hope. Very useful because that age group, you can see school children, that age group between their secondary school children. And what we have seen so far, we have situations where people just easily slip it in their pockets, take it to school, buy it on the road, and take. So part of the major rationale why we ban this is to make sure that that small volume is not available for anybody to hide and to use and reduce alcohol episodic drinking among children, among the school-age people between 15 and 19. And that, I think that's one of the major, the WHO report you mentioned is one of the major documents we work on and why we said we have to ban it.
Staying on that thread then, is it illegal in Nigeria to sell alcohol to children?
As of now, as of before the ban, is not illegal. And so that's why everybody can freely buy it. But now that it's banned, now it is illegal because National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, controls also the use of alcohol. It's part of the things it's part of things that we regulate. So part of our mandate gives us to work on use, to work on sales, to work on advertisement. And so the issue of use is paramount here. And the issue of sales, too, is paramount here. And so anybody who is going against this has fallen short of NAFDAC Act, and they will feel, they fully feel the wrath of the law. Now, what we are doing now with the ban is we're educating people. We are letting them know this is in effect. It's no longer news, and we are no longer fighting whether it's our responsibility or not. We have done what we are supposed to do, and the federal government is behind us on the decision we have taken. So we're going to go on the second phase of enforcement, what that will really affect sellers and people who are also using at the same time.
Well, Dr. Martins Iluyomade from NAFDAC's Investigation and Enforcement Directorate in Lagos, thanks very much for that. Please come back in some short while and tell us how the ban is going.
Thank you.
Nigeria is not the first to ban sachets and small bottles of alcohol. Now, advocacy groups in Ghana are calling for similar steps there. Various countries have instituted bans of sachet alcohol. They include Kenya, which banned alcohol sachets in 2004, setting minimum sizes. Malawi introduced a ban on alcohol sachets in 2015. Cameroon prohibited the production of alcoholic drinks in sachets in 2016, and Tanzania banned alcohol sachets in 2017, also citing concerns about youth access. Uganda implemented a phased ban on alcohol sachets with effective enforcement from 2019. My next guest is a public health researcher at Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda. Professor Nazarius Tumwesigye has been involved in research focusing on alcohol sachets in sub-Saharan Africa. Welcome to DW News Africa, Professor Tumwesigye. Can you begin by telling us why Uganda banned alcohol sachets in 2019?
Thank you so much. This was a result of several negative alcohol-related outcomes. And for example, there was a loss of productivity in some districts. It was clearly observed people are not productive as they used to be. There were even demonstrations, women demonstrating that actually alcohol should be banned. And because there was increased intimate partner violence, there was the crime rate was high, and so some districts really went to an extent of banning alcohol before the government actually came in. So that's how bad it was. And one good example was the Guru district in northern Uganda, which actually banned it for some time. So you can see, so it was an outcry from the population, and then a lot of research evidence were churning out, which shows that really there was a need to control alcohol.
Professor, at the time of the ban, Ugandans were among the highest consumers of alcohol in Africa. Did that change after the ban?
I can assure you, today as we speak, the latest report from World Health Organization shows that Uganda is actually still on top in Africa's alcohol per capita consumption. Yes, I wouldn't say alcohol consumption has really significantly changed. No, that's not, there's no evidence. But what I can say is that shortly after the ban, alcohol availability reduced. Cheap alcohol availability reduced quite significantly. And then again, the sachets reduced from 52% to 1.4%. That's one epidemiological study where I was involved actually showed that. Now what happened after that short time, which was like a year or 2 years after that, the industry brought in small bottles. You know, we banned sachet alcohol, and the industry brought in small bottles. It circumvented the whole process. And So you can see. So unfortunately, alcohol consumption went back to its high levels because of that. And then also we have another big issue of unrecorded alcohol, illicit alcohol, which is quite rampant.
Nigeria has just introduced such a ban on alcohol sachets. What advice would you give authorities there, as well as communities, in terms of effecting this policy in a way that will yield perhaps even better results than you had in Uganda?
They should make sure that the people are involved. You're talking about NGOs, you're talking about communities. They must see the need for control. They must see the need for banning sachets, you see? And then from there, you have the government, you have policymakers, and other really experienced advocates. So things will work out like that. Otherwise, and then also the industry, government should talk to the industry about this. The actual industry should also be able to see this. I know they later on can change their mind, but they should also see such kind of problem. That's when it will succeed. But then you don't end there. Otherwise, you end up with some problems we've seen in Uganda. Look at a wider aspects of alcohol control. You know, you're talking about banning even small bottles. You're talking about putting more effort into monitoring, into implementation of the existing laws. You see? You don't invest into monitoring, you don't invest into enforcement, then you're likely not to achieve anything. And then finally, there should be a law, there should be a bill in Parliament which should really monitor all this, which should really make it, you have an instrument for enforcement. So when you don't have a bill, it will be like you just have a policy just lying there, just in the books, but you really need a bill to make sure something happens, okay?
Well, thanks very much, Professor Tumwesigye, for that interesting insight, that practical case study example in the case of Uganda's ban on alcohol sachets. That is Professor Nazarius Tumwesigye at Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda. Thank you, sir.